The summer transfer window is always a theater of uncertainty, ambition, and chaos. Rumors spread like wildfire, agents work tirelessly behind the scenes, and clubs wrestle with the pressure of time as the clock ticks closer to deadline day. For supporters, it is a cocktail of hope and fear, excitement and dread, as every whisper could signal a new signing or a missed opportunity. And in 2025, the drama feels bigger than ever. This summer, one of the biggest sagas has emerged from North London, where Arsenal have stunned the football world by jumping to the front of the queue for PSG's South Korean star, Lee Kang-In. For months, whispers surrounded the young playmaker. Manchester United looked at him, Napoli scouted him, and PSG debated his future. Yet while others hesitated, Arsenal acted. According to reports, it was Arsenal's sporting director Andrea Berta who moved decisively, contacting Lee directly and making it clear he was wanted at the Emirates. United had once made an approach back in May, but as with so many of their transfer dealings in recent years, nothing materialized. And now, Arsenal have pulled away. For Lee himself, the timing feels perfect. His spell at PSG has been bittersweet in paper. Last season was respectable with 7 goals and 6 assists. But opportunities have been sporadic, and the competition for places in Paris is relentless. Lee has already told PSG he does not want a contract extension, not interested in new negotiations, not content to sit on the bench. His deal runs until 2028, but his ambition is to be a guaranteed starter, and PSG simply cannot offer that. The Parisians are prepared to sell, but only at the right price. They paid €22 million to Mallorca just 2 years ago, and his current valuation is far higher. But for Arsenal, the case makes sense. This is not just a standard winger Lee. Kang-In is versatile, technically brilliant, and perfectly suited to Mikel Arteta's system. He thrives cutting inside on his left, dictating tempo, and offering that creative spark Arteta has craved in his attack. Compared to United, where he would need to navigate a crowded midfield with Bruno Fernandes and the new Emirates system, Arsenal provide clarity and opportunity. North London are serious. They've made contact, and they want it done before the August deadline. For Lee, the message is simple. If PSG cannot give him minutes, Arsenal will. But Arsenal's pursuit of Lee Kang-In is just one chapter in a summer that is turning into one of the most turbulent in recent memory. Over at Manchester City, another storm is brewing, this time between the sticks. Ederson, Pep Guardiola's trusted goalkeeper, could be about to leave the Etihad. Galatasaray have shocked the market by submitting an official bid. Their opening offer, €10 million, was laughed off by City, but the Turkish giants are not backing down. And for Ederson, the lure is clear. Last summer, he hoped to cash in with a Saudi move, but talks collapsed. His desire for a new challenge, and for a lucrative payday, has never disappeared. Galatasaray are reportedly offering an eye-watering contract, €8 million per season for 5 years. That would make him one of the best-paid players in Turkish football history. The chance to replace club legend Fernando Muslera and still play Champions League football makes the proposal even more tempting. But if Ederson leaves, who replaces him at City? Enter Gianluigi Donnarumma. Once untouchable at PSG, the Italian has suddenly become surplus after Lucas Chevalier displaced him. In the space of weeks, Donnarumma has gone from indispensable to expendable. With just 1 year left on his contract, PSG might sell for as little as £40 million. City see an opportunity. Sell Ederson for the right price. Bring in Donnarumma for a cut deal and potentially come out ahead, while still securing a world keeper. For Ederson, it's a chance at a new adventure. For Donnarumma, a career reboot at a top club. And for City, the cycle of reinvention continues. This is the domino effect of transfers. One move unlocks another, each decision reshaping the future of multiple clubs. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest are trying to seize their own moment of opportunity. Once a giant of English football, now building steadily under Nuno Espirito Santo, the club are chasing Douglas Luiz from Juventus, signed just last summer for €50 million. Luiz has endured a nightmare spell in Turin. He failed to impress, clashed with management, and even left training camp without permission, drawing sharp criticism. Juventus, eager to clear space and money for Randal Kolo Muani, are ready to offload him for €35 million, a significant loss on their investment. Forest, now in the Europa League, believe they can offer Luiz the stage to revive his career. Negotiations are advanced, personal terms are settled, and Juventus want the deal done. For Luiz, who once thrived at Aston Villa before financial troubles forced his move to Italy, this could be a second chance in England. But can he rediscover his best form after a disastrous Serie A season? That is the risk Forest are willing to take. Further north, Newcastle United find themselves trapped in a dilemma of ambition and fear. Their star striker, Alexander Isak, is determined to leave, with Liverpool circling. Eddie Howe remains cagey, never committing to Isak's future, but the reality is clear. Unless Newcastle sign a replacement, Isak will not be allowed to go. And that is where Goncalo Ramos comes into play. PSG have decided to sell him outright. For £56 million, they expected a star. Instead, Ramos has failed to establish himself, starting just 16 games last season. His return of 34 goals in 87 matches is decent, but not enough for the elite standards of Paris. Newcastle see him as the perfect Isak replacement, but the numbers are staggering. A £70 million fee, plus wages of $200,000 a week, would make him their highest-paid player in history. And then there's the question of whether Ramos even wants Newcastle. He has already rejected United, Chelsea, and Juventus this summer, leaving intermediaries unsure. But Newcastle need a striker. Without one, Isak's sale is impossible. The tension builds as the clock ticks down. Across London, Arsenal are also facing exits. Oleksandr Zinchenko's time at the Emirates appears to be over. Once central to Arteta's plans, he has been pushed aside tactically, and now Fenerbahce are closing in. Their sporting director has flown to London. Negotiations are advanced, and Mourinho's presence at the Turkish club adds huge appeal. Porto and Betis lurk in the background, but Fenerbahce remain favorites. For Zinchenko, with 1 year left on his contract, the choice looms: sacrifice wages to play regularly, or cling to comfort and risk stagnation. At Chelsea, another subplot unfolds. Nicholas Jackson, once seen as the striker of the future, has slipped down the order after new arrivals. With nearly 100 appearances, 30 goals, and 12 assists, his record is solid, but not spectacular. Now, both Aston Villa and Newcastle are circling. Villa need depth behind Ollie Watkins for their Europa League campaign, and Jackson has already told friends he wants to reunite with Unai Emery, who coached him at Newcastle's interest, meanwhile, is born of desperation, with Isak unsettled. Chelsea, ready to lower their asking price from 80 to 60 million, appear resigned to losing him. Jackson's future depends on which project he believes in more, under Emery, or a leading role in Newcastle's rebuild. And then there is Manchester United. Forever, a club chasing ghosts of past glory, now linked once again to one of England's most promising midfielders, Adam Wharton of Crystal Palace. The 21-year-old has blossomed since leaving Blackburn, winning the FA Cup, breaking into the England squad, and establishing himself as one of the most promising holding midfielders in the league. Palace value him at £60 million, more than double the $22 million they paid just 18 months ago. Some fans claim he is worth even $100 million. For United, the irony is cruel. They scouted him at Blackburn but hesitated. Palace acted, and now the Red Devils must pay 3 times the price if they want him. Ruben Amorim wants young, technical, ambitious players to reshape United's midfield, and Wharton fits the profile. The question is whether the club will finally act with conviction or repeat their old mistakes of dithering until it is too late. And as always, the question remains: who will take the gamble, who will miss their chance, and who will write the next great chapter in the history of the sport? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Should Arsenal go all in for Kang-In? Will Ederson really swap Manchester for Istanbul? Is Gonçalo Ramos worth the risk for Newcastle, or should they look elsewhere? And do you believe Adam Wharton could be the answer to United's midfield crisis?